That's an abrupt start, isn't it? Welcome to my Xbox streams, where things start up abruptly, and maybe I talk, maybe I don't. I don't know. I'm very All right, so we got some activity in the Discord, but I gotta scroll up and grab a link for my own stuff. Boop, boop. The children of the corn. No, but it should be. Is there really no children of Morta? Maybe it's a different thing. So with a C? I could swear there was a hashtag for this. Oh my god. Children uh, of... No? Ah! Well, you know. I'll just do that. Alright. Alright, so I got all my links up. I'm super fancy. I'm super technologically advanced. We'll be getting back into the Children of Morta. I'm trying something out on Twitch. It's called a community gift chest. If you are a Prime Twitch member, you can contribute loot that you may not ever use. It's possible. They give you so much stuff, people never use it. But you could throw it into the community gift chest if you want. I'm not really going to encourage people to do this per se, other than it's going to be there. And if you want to utilize it, great. And I'll try to follow up on that and distribute it as it were, which is I think is what I end up being is the distributor. I'm basically collecting, but I'm not sure because this is so new. I don't know how it works yet, so I can only learn from if people participate in it. So if you guys don't, I don't know. It'll just be a thing that's there, and maybe I'll just disable it at some point. I don't know. But I thought I'd utilize it since you guys did like the channel points that I opted into. So what are those? What are the channel points? Channel points are it's this little orb thing in the bottom left corner of the chat part of the stream. You can redeem these for various things. I don't know if they're going to add more to the future. I really hope they do. But yeah, and the cool thing is you can get subscription type benefits, like you can rent emotes without costing you anything. So for those of you that are struggling financially, I get it. Believe me, I do. Um, It's an alternative, so you could still participate in the stream, use the emotes. I believe even outside of my stream, you can use them elsewhere. So channel points are really cool. I'm glad to have them. I'm glad Twitch finally started to do something of that nature. And hopefully you guys will get equal use and pleasure out of the community gift chest thing. So we'll see. I do apologize. I will be taking tiny breaks to cough up phlegm every once in a while. I'm still kind of sick, but I'm not really sick, I don't think. I think I'm just trying to get all the crap out of my system. But there's a lot of crap. I'm just full of crap, so it's going to take a while. Is what I'm saying. So it's probably going to be a solid week before I'm completely something remotely close to healthy. Until then, yeah. It's all going to be dicey. People tell me I sound sick all the time anyways. I can't help if my voice sounds like someone's sick all the time. But yeah, my voice does get a bit deeper, bassier when I get sick because my throat is so incredibly dried out and stripped. So anyways, jumping right back into this. Yeah, I got to sign in. I did miss this game. It is a really neat little game. It even takes me out of my comfort zone, but not too much because this is not a loot type game. I mean, you do find stuff, but it doesn't have like crazy inventory management or any of that shit that I don't like, which some people do, and fine for you. Not so much for me. It's just a fantastic game to just jump into. The fact that it has a narrative that enriches the game is great. It's fantastic. It means you can enjoy the game in multiple ways, not just, you know. So let's recap the family. We have the alcoholic uncle. Make stuff for us. We have the disturbed child. She sets things on fire. The maybe lazy, possibly flirtatious Linda. That's Mary, by the way. Is it Mary? It's Mary, right? Where is she? Where are you? Lucy. Sorry, it's not Luke. It's not Mary. It's Lucy. I'm not forgetting people's. I think Mary is the mom. Mary, the mom, a little bit overbearing. Mark, the thoughtful but largely absent older child. I don't know where crazy grandma is. Where is she? She's somewhere. They move around, as do the cat and dog. There is a cat and a dog, yep. This is a full family. There's the father. John. Very unique name. Not a lot of people with the name John out there. Oh, look, the cat and the dog are like right next to each other. Oh, that's kind of cool. There's a lot of really subtle charm to this game that I'm not even sure it's going to be that subtle. Like, it's not really... oh, and then you got crazy old lady that was mistaken for a witch. Boo! Boo! Even if she was a witch, that doesn't mean she's a bad witch. And then, incredibly hyperactive Kevin. He is the poster child for sugar addiction right there. Like, seriously. There's no way he's not addicted to sugar. Like, in whatever form it exists in this game. Sugar, caffeine, anything that hypes children up. Seriously, just look at that. Look at that footage right there. If I could zoom in on this, which I can't, they don't allow me to do that. But if I could, I'd zoom in on him bouncing off the fucking walls. That is Like, seriously, if your kids are like bouncing off the walls, stop giving them sugar! They probably shouldn't be bouncing off your walls. They have a little bit too much energy. And I mean, if you could figure out a way to direct that into a useful form that doesn't involve them, you know, eventually committing crimes, then great. Fantastic. More power to you. Alright, I don't know that I'm going to pass this easily because I got my ass handed to me. And, I just don't know. I feel like I need to co-op this boss, but that's not going to happen. Because without having a second person to revive me, or that I can revive them, this is a tough boss fight. Maybe I'll go with Linda again. Linda's like, is my ace, but I've been using Lucy a lot. As you can see, she's already got corruption fatigue. There are some links to some reviews and stuff, not by me, but by others. I don't do that. I don't do reviews. I almost find the whole thing kind of pointless. Like, you could always watch me play something if you want. You can make up your own mind, can't you? Can't you? But I threw up a couple links for Death Stranding. I would say the two polar ends of it. One of them is inevitably telling you to stay away from it. That would be the Jim Sterling one. And one of them is encouraging you to try it out. Not only try it out, but play the whole entire game till its end. Which is a tall fucking order. Because it's a 50-hour game. So keep in mind, if you're interested in Death Stranding, it is a very long and possibly tedious game. I felt like I covered both. I don't know if there's a level-headed review. I figure most people are either going to go one way or the other, because it's such a, let's say, a polarizing experience. But that might be the right way to put it. It's just so different. There's movie equivalents. There is actually a movie out there which maybe the game is inspired by that had Kevin Costner in it, and he was the Postman. Did you guys? And I think that was actually post-apocalyptic too, wasn't it? The Postman. So it actually is the video game form of that movie in a lot of ways. And I don't know if that was intentional or accidental, but like as soon as I found out what the game actually was, I'm like, oh, it's the Postman. But like in video game format, and Kevin Costner is well known for doing movies that are these like massive, really long movies that ultimately don't do that well. So, you know, Waterworld, Postman, there's quite a few of them. He's known for that. And I'm guessing he fronts them with his own personal money. Because I don't know, as like, with his own money, he's actually making anything. He's probably just losing money on each of these movies. Unless it's not the case and he's not the executive producer, and then he's maybe still making something? I don't know. And SeaWorld is, it's SeaWorld. It's SeaWorld. Maybe it's not. It is SeaWorld. I was like, wait, is that really it? Because, no, it's not SeaWorld. God damn it, what is it called? Oh my god. Kevin Costner. Movies. There we go. Thank you, Google, for completing my thoughts. Waterworld. It's Waterworld. Why did I call it SeaWorld? SeaWorld is a place you go and bring your kids and stuff. Don't bring your kids to Waterworld. It's a totally different place. They have people called smokers there, and they smoke, and they do things that are evil. Don't bring your kids to Waterworld. But yeah, he did Waterworld. That's what it was. So The Postman, The Waterworld, The Untouchables is an amazing movie. I don't know why you wouldn't see that. Dances with Wolves. There's another one. Um, God, what other ones in there are there in here? His older movies don't follow that trend so much because that was, I guess, before he had the money to be spending on these other things. So yeah, apparently, well, it doesn't show anything. No, 2019, The Highwayman. That's probably also in line with that. Very long. I guess you could say thoughtful movie. Supposed to be thought provoking. Anyway, so yeah, small highlight on Kevin Costner. Oh, by the way, welcoming. Who's that? Welcoming Danielle from Twitter to the Discord, of course, and hopefully they'll become more involved in the community and all that good stuff. There's tons of stuff to do within the community, especially on the art side of things. Um, just off the top of my head, art trades. Art trades is a thing. So, if you're ever struggling as an artist, this is just a PSA, but if you're ever struggling as an artist, but like you're confident in your artistic ability, and you should be, because that's like you have to be confident before anybody else can be confident in you. Think about art trades. Find other artists, trade with them, do a piece of art for them. They do a piece of art for you. It's oftentimes these kinds of transactions are somewhat advertised among the communities that involve them, and it could bring you both a lot more attention. And it doesn't require any exchange of money. You're just you're bartering. You're giving them a service, and they're offering you the same service. But since you both likely do different types of art, you both get something out of it. So yeah, art trades are definitely a decent way to go if you're finding it difficult to get off the ground. I know that quite a few artists have done that, so it's an idea. Um, but otherwise, just be vocal, network the hell out of yourself, and don't lose the faith. Don't lose the faith because there's always an opportunity out there. I still wanted Lucy Lucy, but I know I can't, so I'll just use Linda again. I was waiting for something to happen. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta press another button. God damn it. Oh, how funny it is when I talk about it. Suki in I like to call him Suki, and a lot of people don't know that I'm talking about him. It's fine. So when I call him Suki, no one has any idea who I'm referring to. And I guess there is a Suki or two in the community as well, so there is a little bit of confusion there also. Oh, right away I've got an enraged enemy. Okay. You have to forgive me. The controls. Try to step to me, skeleton. You're just an ordinary skeleton, not like that enraged one over there that I just totally destroyed. I really gotta work on... I hate those spiders that spawn other spiders. I don't mind spiders themselves, I just don't like things that spawn other things. This game goes from like small groups of enemies to giant swarms really fast. I don't want to say really fast, but fast enough for you to have to really pay attention and not be like, oh yeah, I could kill everything. Well, eventually when there's enough of them smacking you around like you're some kind of antagonist, you will get overwhelmed. And healing items in this game are decently plentiful, but they seem to be getting rarer as time goes on, so I'm not swimming in them is what I'm saying. Hey there, Takato, Danielle. Yes, you can chat. You can chat live. And it will also be in the VOD, of course. I feel like these things, when you get sucked towards the center, should do damage to you. But
before the hero was a game of chance and memory.
Yeah, but first I check all the corpses. Alright, let's see if I can nail this on the first try. Well, you see him seeing... I also do Sea of Thieves. I haven't gone back to it lately, but that's because I'm kind of drowning in games that I want to play, and I try to prioritize smaller titles over bigger titles, even though that's quite backwards as far as like viewership goes, which I'm not that concerned about. So my Sea of Thieves streams and my Space Lords streams do sometimes take a backseat to even smaller titles. This one I do intend to try to play it to its end all the way. I've already got a playlist going on YouTube for it. So if you want to see the 2 other streams, Danielle, that I did of this game, or if you want to see the Sea of Thieves one, because that has booty in it, they're out there. They're up on my YouTube. They do eventually vanish off of my my Twitch. So yeah, but my ace actually is interacting with my chat and interacting with all y'all that do pop into my chat. So it's great when y'all lurk, but at the same time, I love it more when you guys do interact with me. Sometimes I can't keep up with chat, but that does not mean you guys can't chat with each other. You know, that thing. It didn't start off rusty. It was solid from the start, in my opinion. In my opinion, what was there was a solid foundation. They built a really good foundation for a game going forward. It just needed more things for you to do, because the world was beautiful and interesting. Sailing was like real sailing. Like you actually felt like you were investing in your experience and not just leveling up. You know how games will level you up, but you don't actually learn anything from that, right? You don't particularly get better at the game because you've got more XP. Well, in Sea of Thieves, you do actually have to learn stuff, and you do actually get better at it, and there's no leveling system whatsoever, which just goes to show you how toxic stuff like that is. Like XP systems and things like that, grinding in general, how toxic it is to the actual learning process. It hinders it. It distracts you from it. Because if you're given less, you're more encouraged to learn than if you're giving a whole bunch of things. It used to be a thing, Takato. It used to be. Old-fashioned video games from like the Nintendo era really did force you to learn. You didn't have a choice. You had to learn. You had to educate yourself. You had to get better reflexes. I mean, there was no choice. The game wasn't going to pander your ass until you beat it. So Sea of Thieves, now that it has much more content, it's got pets, it's got fishing, it's got these little miniature events that you bump into. In fact, if you watch even one of my streams, Danielle, you will see me get assaulted by all manner of things. All manner of things assault me in Sea of Thieves. People, monsters, the weather, the fucking weather sunk my goddamn ship. So it's not a boring game. However, when people do note it as a game designed for streamers, abso-fucking-lutely. Now, why is that the case? It's because it involves... Yeah, poor Alicia. Yeah, she's all by herself right now since we're not playing Sea of Thieves. Alicia is no longer being taken care of. I did name my my little moonkey Alicia once I figured out how to do that. I still suck at fishing. I have not caught a single fucking fish. I have, however, found fish and looted fish and then gotten credit for catching them. Because I mean, that's what pirates do. I totally caught this really big fish. Are you sure you didn't just find that in a ship? No. I totally caught this really big fish all by myself, learning the skills that I've accumulated over the years. So, because it is a pirate game, you can sort of cheat and find stuff that you otherwise would have to win through effort. There is that too. It's a very interesting game, and it offers a lot of what I would consider turn down the game a bit. Emergent gameplay, which is a bit of a money words, but yeah, it absolutely offers emergent gameplay. It offers great opportunities for role playing. If you just want to get out of your own personal space and you just want to have fun in another space, it's fantastic for that. It gives you amazing liberty for that. So of course that makes it a good game for streaming, but really more so if you're streaming with other people, if you're actually trying to get numbers out of it. I think we'll start with 3. 3 is not it. But I feel like I'm close. I don't know. I never know if the monster is some kind of an indicator. 4. No. 2. Ah! It was an indicator, maybe. Okay, so 2. Then 4? No. So weird how they make goat noises. 2, then 1, then 3, then 4. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Got it. I'm probably not going to get much from this, but... Drop a divine item. I'll hold on to you for later. I've earned myself some divinity. So yeah, I do stream them. I really am reticent to call myself a variety streamer, but I guess at this point that's what I am. I did start out exclusively streaming Space Lords. So if you don't know what Space Lords is and you happen to watch one of my streams, that's primarily what I do. Not unlike Magamu doing Warframe for so long. Like, I played Space Lords. I've been playing Space Lords for over 2 years. Yes, it's been around that long. It's a little bit confusing for some people because originally it was called Raiders of the Broken Planet. And so you're like, whoa, wait a second. Space Lords hasn't been out for that long. No, it hasn't. But the game that it originated from has. And it is still that game at its core, but it has changed drastically over the years, much like Warframe has. And I expect it will continue to change drastically. And Lord knows what it will become. I mean, we might even end up with like large open world areas, not much unlike Warframe, because Warframe experimented with that. I could actually see them doing that at some point, and just adding some kind of a weird romp area for us, just to mess around in. But it's a very rich game as far as like the content, the lore. I will just say the content. The content itself is just so rich, and there's plenty of it there at this point. They've had plenty of time to build it up. Most characters have 5 weapons. There's tons of different talents to mess with. You will often hear me talking about other games while I'm playing a particular game. It happens. I'm not very good at not doing that, but gotta remember not to get that health right away. Give me the stuff! Another health item? Yes, it is. Stockpile these. This first room is not that bad. It's the second or the third room that I struggle with. And I like to see what all my options for doors are before I go through any of them, usually. Because some of these areas are huge and very wide open, and that makes it very easy for the enemies to swarm you. If I haven't already said it, this game is fantastic. There is zero reason why you shouldn't buy this game. Zero. It is, yes, it is absolutely that good. Yes, it is that good that I'm going to tell you, you should just buy it. I mean, you should just, it does. That's why I even caught Ernan saying talent cards, so he's still using cards, because they are cards. When you look at them, they're still what they originally were. They're in the shape of a card, and all that stuff. And I would love to see them actually finally take hold of that and put like imagery on one side, like, you know how trading cards are, and then the information on the other side. Wouldn't that be cool? Then we could like once you own a card, you could look at it and it could be a piece of artwork, which is part of the allure of collectible card games, right? Is collecting artwork as well. That's part of why some people get attached to certain cards, is they just really like the art on those cards. And they have the talent for it. So I don't know why they wouldn't do that. And it could even be cooler. What about this, Takato? Get this. Get this! Let me slam this home to you, Takato. What if, instead of their artwork, it was community artwork? So it was fan art, and on each piece, each talent card, you could have, on the flip side, a piece of fan art. How awesome would that be? Would that not be badass? And that'd be a great way to integrate all that fan art that we have floating around out there for Space Lords into the game itself in a super tangible form. Do you want me to pitch that to Mercury Steam? Takato, do you want me to pitch that to them? Because I'll totally pitch that to them. Do that right now. All right, there we go. Done. I am crazy. I'm known for being incredibly insane. I fear no man or woman or person. Unless they're a lot shorter than me. I'm super paranoid about... I'm not so much... I don't like tall people, to be honest, because they're taller than me and that bugs me. And they're always proving to me that they can do things that I can't do because I'm just shorter than them. But people that are too much shorter than me do freak me out a little bit because they can hide behind things, like almost anything, and I won't know they're there. And maybe that's a legitimate fear of like every really tall person is like everybody that's shorter than them can like hide in all kinds of places that they cannot. Which, like, well, fuck it! They don't make hiding places for tall people! I guess I just will stand here and pretend to be a fucking tree. No, I've never said a thing, Takato. I've never said a thing in my entire life that someone hasn't already thought. In fact, that's often what gets people enamored with me at all, is that I'm just saying what they're already thinking, but they haven't verbalized it yet. And maybe they never will. And that makes me an incredibly ignorant individual, because obviously I get all the flack for it, and they could just sit back and watch the results of what would have happened if they had said that thing that they were thinking about. Because I don't really care all that much. I'm not that concerned about my personal being. I'm a fairly expressive person. Just so I don't have to come back for that. Because I would have. A lot of skeletons. I need another ability. What was that? Vortex shot. Explosive crescendo pulls enemies towards the center of the area effect. Oh, okay, sweet. So I've unlocked runes for my stuff, so now my weapons can get, or my abilities can get enhanced. What's this one? Is that Mighty Touch or Mighty Torch? Mighty Touch. That's very provocative. My primary attack will knock back enemies. I've gotten that one before. That's actually a pretty good one. It's a good solid one for keeping spacing between you and them. And I could swear I got that one for Lucy as well. I love the slight delays on everything, so it may not seem that important, but in a game where you're judged on your reaction time, those slight delays are very important. You don't want too long of a delay, like you don't want to overly choreograph something, but see the slight delay in the time that they have the post animation or the post damage and then the actual damage frame. That's super important because it gives you time to react. It doesn't feel cheap. One of the things I really hated about Dark Souls is, see that initial windup? There was no initial windup. They just fucking would nail you. And you'd be like, what the fuck? And it would be like, dude, it's Dark Souls, man. didn't you know that they did that? There's just some crazy guy that runs up and kicks you in your nards and then runs off and laughs and steals all your shit. It's totally cool. You should play this all the time. I'm like, no. I'll pass on that experience, thank you. That's why I stopped playing the Dark Souls games, because they just love doing that too much. They just blindside you, in other words. They don't give you time to react to anything. And then people will pretend like they are reacting. No, you're not, you fucking liar. You watched a video of someone going through that same fucking area. You knew it was going to happen, so you had precognition of what was going to happen, and you reacted to that, you fucking cunt liar. But I love how people try to pretend like they're actually good at the game and they haven't just watched a bunch of fucking videos on it. No one's actually fucking good at Dark Souls, okay? No one. Y'all just watch videos, and you watch other people's mistakes and you learn from them, which is good, don't get me wrong, but like, don't lie to me and tell me that you're fucking reacting to anything. Because everything in that game gets overly predictable, isn't it? It is so true. How many people pretend like they're good at Souls games? Watch them play the game for the first time, and you'll see how good they actually are. They're not. Because for one, those games aren't even designed for you to be good at them. They're designed for you to go through a purely masochistic experience and learn from your deaths. They're purposely trying to kill you in ways that you can't possibly know are going to come, unless you're just super fucking paranoid like I am. But like, Jesus Christ, my fucking stream of Song of Horror, Christ, that made me paranoid about everything. By the time I was done killing off all the characters, sounds so horrible. By the time I was done killing off all my characters, I was afraid of everything. There was not a goddamn thing in that game that I didn't believe couldn't kill me in some way. Is that a wall? I don't believe that's a wall. That's something else. Is that a fucking chair? No, that's not a chair. It's like everything in that game was starting to freak me out. It built such intense paranoia within me from... It was just a few hours, right? But within those few hours, I've never intensely paranoid, because there's so many different ways that things come at you in that game, and you can't predict it. You can't. Like, I kept thinking, if I know, like one of the things that I was trying to build confidence on was like, okay, if I see the thing where I can hear something on the other side, I just won't go in there. But if I don't see that in there, then it's a safe room. Not particularly, because sometimes I would go into a room and then shit would happen immediately as soon as I got into the room or I did something. So, yeah, it's very random. You can't watch one person playing that game and expect that it's going to happen to you that way. It's a really great game for that. I highly, if you like horror games. Yeah, I killed 2 people throwing them out windows, Takato. Look, I figured one of them was a safe window. I figured if one was not a safe window, the other one had to be. But to be perfectly honest, I have really bad short-term memory, so I couldn't remember which was the window that the other character slipped and fell out of. So I had them go what I thought was the other window. It might have actually been the same window. But either way, both of those windows were dangerous, and I killed 2 characters. And then I found the right window, which I had a map of the entire time. I actually had a little blueprint thing that actually showed me which was the proper window. That was like my clue. So yeah. 2 of my characters technically committed suicide. And the weirdest part about that, Takato, was you never ever find their bodies. Like, I expected that maybe they might be, like, in the grass or by the fountain or something about where they might have fallen. No, they're not out there. And I still am not sure that each of the characters that you kill in that game don't become another ghost that haunts you. And that was also making me paranoid. I was like, oh my god, what if the people I killed are gonna get me? Like, what if they're also out to get me now because the people that are haunting you while you're playing the game were also killed by the house? and the spirits in it, whatever. So I mean, they all just become a part of it. It is a really it's not a monster game where there's some monster chasing you. It's not a typical ghost story game. It's way scarier than Death Stranding. It's way scarier. Like I think Death Stranding tries to be scary, but it's not. Like, of all the footage I saw of Death Stranding, none of it would scare me. None of it. Like, I think it wants to have that scary. It has the oppressive feeling of a horror game, but it doesn't. It's not a scary game by any means. But Song of Horror was legitimately a and of course I go into it being like, I'm not really bothered by horror games and stuff, because I'm not, because most of them are so fucking campy that they become overly predictable. Like, Song of Horror was not predictable, and when I thought it was becoming predictable, it would mess with me in new ways. And I think every time you made some progress, like you solved a puzzle, you found something, the game would find a way to just rattle your cage in like some either major way or a bunch of small ways. Either way, it was whittling you down. So when it finally did come after you, because it does like sometimes actually come after you, you were already so shaken that you couldn't react well, because your confidence was like it was already pretty shaken. Oh, oops. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but I guess I just used my rage bar in accident. Boy, that went fast. Increased maximum health. Thank you. The gift of life. But yeah, I definitely, it's a relatively cheap game. Just for, like, all I played was the first episode because I couldn't pass it. And then I was gonna maybe peek at the second episode, but I didn't even, I completely overestimated my ability to succeed in that game. And I ended up killing off every single character. And no, I didn't think I was gonna, I thought I was gonna kill one character. I thought I'd get like one character killed, and then I would just get through the rest of it, learning from the death of that one character. No. But to be fair, those two characters I killed off in a row, that was just pure stupidity. Like, it wasn't exactly on purpose, but I should have just known better. But I did still have to keep sending people out windows, because one of those windows was the correct window. But I didn't want to go near the girl. That's why I avoided the window. I avoided the window that was the right window, because that had the girl next to it. That was coming out of the fucking camera. That I could see she was coming out of the camera. And I could see she was all kinds of freaky deaky. And there was no way I was going to interact with her. So I sucked it up and I interacted with her because I killed all my other characters off. I had nothing left to lose. And that ended up being the right window. Go figure. So I killed two characters trying to avoid what I thought was going to kill me. So, I mean, there's a lot of sheer irony there. They're going to be on YouTube shortly, Takato. So if you prefer to watch it, I almost would say I kind of prefer you guys watch on YouTube so I can keep track of the metrics there and see what kind of content is doing well versus not. Though the views are always very, very low. I can at least see it's getting one view, it's getting no views, maybe sometimes they get more than one view. I do gauge these things. I don't have people, Takato. It's just me. It's just me bouncing all over the internet like a crazy person trying to collect information and redistribute it. That's all it is. And I haven't been trained for this. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So it's always very dicey. I close my tweeter. Yeah, I have a YouTube. Yeah, I actually had 2 YouTubes, but I solved that problem. One of them I had to drag into a room screaming, kicking, and we had to put them down. We had to put down one of my YouTube channels. It was an older channel that somehow was coming up instead of the one I wanted to. So yeah, that YouTube channel is no longer with us. I did lose some content from an old game I worked on, which is a bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world either. I was working on a game called Cormoon at one point, and I had some dev videos from that. That's right, you heard me correctly. I used to work on video games. I don't anymore because I'm not very good at it. And aside from how bad at it I am, my social skills at that time were at an all-time low, so I wasn't communicating things very effectively, and ultimately it ended up being like the biggest crux in the project. Getting their channel stolen? Well, lucky for me, Takato, my channel is never going to be that popular that I think anybody would want to steal it. I think. I don't know. Usually that kind of attention is delegated to people that are way, way more popular than I am. Which is why I'm perfectly fine not being in the limelight, because that just introduces so many problems that you would never want. Like, everybody thinks it's all about being famous, but you know, sometimes it's not, and sometimes that is going to bring you a lot of unwelcome experiences. I use what little clout I can to try to, you know, encourage people to, much like Danielle, to interact with each other, and get more involved in the community. I feel like that's the best use of whatever little clout I have, because I don't have much to begin with. But if I can get you all more cohesively interacting with each other in some kind of social structure that replaces the real society, because real society just fucking sucks. I mean, the Space Lords community is a hop and a skip away from being a fucking cult anyways. Because we're so concentrated and we're so small that, like, at any point in time we could weaponize ourselves and just go full ballistic on the fucking rest of the world. But yeah, we're a very Ivo community. You. I would have rather that shot at the archer, but I wish kills would lower my my secondary bar, but it does come back pretty fast. Right, let me go see what I got going on here. Can I actually upgrade something? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, Absolute Force. Walling Guardians Rage. No. This is what I want. Yes! This took me forever to get this skill point. It takes so long to level up. I hate grinding, but this game is still so fun, I actually don't mind it. There's only one other game I didn't mind grinding in that I can remember in recent memory, and that was Remnant. And it's why no matter how much people bash that game, I'll be like, fuck you, I still like it. Because it was the only game that I grinded in that I didn't even think about grinding. Like, it was such a minor part of what I was doing. Like, it was just incidental that I didn't think about it. Any game that makes you think about grinding is already making you grind too much. Yeah, Remnant's a beautiful game too. I gotta get back to it, but again, once you start throwing as many games into your docket as I have, it gets hard to go back to things that you actually did enjoy and you really genuinely want to go back to, but at the same time, you're still trying to push forward with other things that have come out. I've managed to put like quite a few things out there on my YouTube channel now. It's definitely grown in content because I just started blatantly throwing things up there as much as possible. Like every bit of content. I recently removed one thing because it got so direly copyright nailed that it wasn't even getting views anyway, so I just took it down. Dude, that was like most of my fucking stream for Remnant was me like going so far down this tunnel, and then there was like suddenly like 30 enemies coming after me, and I'm like, fuck this, and I run away, and they keep spawning them in. Yeah, that was a super easy game to stream because in my opinion that game just looks fun, and it is fun. Yeah. And I don't think that one ended up on YouTube. I don't know. Did my Remnant streams end up on YouTube? I can't remember. There was definitely points where I just completely forget I even have YouTube and I don't bother with it. It's only through persistence and consistence that I do get stuff up on YouTube, because really I'm not all that concerned with what's going on with my YouTube channel, though I probably should be. I mean, I'll go back to it, but obviously it won't be the same now that I know kind of what I'm doing, but I'll be rusty as fuck. I'm gonna die like crazy because that game's not a cakewalk. But I still want to try the adventure mode, so the next time I play Remnant, it will most likely be because of the adventure mode that they added into it. So you could replay the same like world, but in as many variations as you want. So you could keep reshuffling the world, and it won't affect your story. But you do get to keep the stuff. All the stuff you get from it, you get to keep. So that I wanted to mess with, and that would be better for smaller sessions. Because my goal originally with Remnant was just to beat the game. I wanted to actually play a game to completion, which is an incredibly hard thing for me to do, both with my like work schedule and my non-work schedule, which technically streaming is still part of my work schedule. I don't make much money from this, but I can potentially make money from it, so it still ends up being a work of some sort. Though it's abysmal, don't do this for a living. So with the time that I have left, it's not much. I mean, I'm basically eating and sleeping in the rest of the time. And sometimes I'm not even doing that. Because I try to stream too much, or I want to have like just time to myself. And so I end up using that time watching anime, movies, etc., entertaining myself, watching other streamers. I hardly ever get to watch other streamers. Yeah, the one thing about being sick and not streaming as much because I was sick was that I actually got to watch more streamers stream, because I wasn't going to enjoy streaming myself. But yeah, I can only do so many things at once. It can be very stressful too, Takado. Like, I try to make this as fun as possible because I do the same thing in my real job. Like, I learned a long time ago, you could either hate your job, whatever it is that you're doing, and what you're doing is you're starting off with a negative attitude. You're going to make every single thing you attempt harder to do because you personally are slowing yourself down. You're slowing yourself down and you're demotivating yourself. Or you could try to make what you do, no matter what it is, as fun as possible. Even if it pisses people off, don't let that stop you. Because the more fun you have, the more engaged with what you're doing you will be. And I actually learned that from when I went back to school, because one of the learning tricks that they were trying to teach us, which was a good trick, and I think this one trick had more value than anything else I learned, was that you had to find a way to attach yourself to the information. And to do that, you had to find value in the information for you personally. So let's say you're taking this class, and it's the most boring class ever. But you want to do well in that class. You have to find a way to make that information interesting for you. And when you do, I guarantee you it will be easier. That's just the way our brain works. If you fight information, it will not get into your brain, and if it does, it will not be very easy for you to access, and it won't be very useful to you. Therefore, so yeah, you got to make things fun. You got to make things interesting for you personally, not for anybody else, but for you. It's very important. I mean, even when I stream Space Lord Staccato, if I go in with a negative attitude, it's a lot harder for me to go to have fun. But if I go in with a sort of excitement or curiosity, even if that's all it is, it's just a curiosity and excitement, I'm more likely to have a better stream that way. All right, so now I got new attack. Let's see what it does. Does that? And what does that do? All right, now that I've done it, what does it do? Okay, so it stuns all enemies near me. Cool. Oh, I got some new shoes! Oh my god! New shoes. And I can shank people with them. They're shanking shoes. Gotta prioritize those little angry monkeys, because those guys are pretty fast. And they hurt a lot. Oh no. Suck it. Can't get through my magical door. This is very exploitive. I am getting better at this game in a way that I could actually fight huge groups like that and not completely freak out. Yeah, oh, that's not even close to the biggest group of enemies that's come after me in this game, Staccato. Like, not even close. And most of them, thankfully, like, skeletons are some of the weakest enemies in this game, believe it or not. They're relatively slow. They have a long wind-up on their attacks, so they give you plenty of opportunity to counter them. Those guys, the little purple monkey guys that make the goat noise when you kill them, those guys are dangerous. Those guys you want to get rid of ASAP. By far, they are the most dangerous enemies to start off with. And you get those guys right away. They're very aggressive, very fast, and they will attack you in huge swarms. And they also dodge. You see how he attacks me and then he withdraws? They're crafty little fuckers. So they're not easy to just kill outright. If you don't focus them. See? Got a hit in. These portals are a pain in the ass to get rid of. I didn't have those before. Yeah, you almost have to, like, stun them, knock them back, or dodge as soon as they attack. There's technically 2 trees in this game, or 2 set of skills or passives. the way this game is done, because there's the character you're playing as. That's your immediate build or whatever, okay, or your play style. Okay. Then there is your meta, which is the whole family itself, and each of these family members, as you level them up to certain tiers, offers another passive to the entire family. So as each character in the family gets stronger, eventually the family itself gets stronger, like the whole family collectively, and they start getting all these extra passives. And one of them is a sort of riposte, where if you dodge at just the right time, you one of the family members will come in and do an attack real fast. And there's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of these ones where the family members come in and assist you, but you have to level them up so they're able to do that. So it's really cool that as you're leveling these family members up, you're not only making them more powerful personally, but you're making them usable in some form for other family members, which is really cool. Like, the whole idea of unity and working together in this game is beautifully done. I mean, other than this game, it's just about perfect. I like, from a design perspective, I would have to scrape away so many layers of good stuff in this game to get at what I would be able to criticize. It's really just that well done. It's very, very well thought out. And I'll tell you, from all the games I've played over the many years, that's very rare. Most game designers just kind of think they're right. I don't know how else to put it. They're right, you're wrong. And sometimes that they may be more true than they are wrong, but being able to see a broader picture outside of your own, personal feelings and whatnot is what makes a designer a designer. Designers, if you're going to design something, I'm going to tell you flat out, you're not a fucking artist, okay? You're not. Why am I saying this? Mostly when we create art, it's a form of expression. It's something we do for ourselves largely. Design is not that, okay? Design is for someone else. And if you can't understand that part of game design is design, you have no place doing it. It's just, you're going to make really bad games. I'm just going to tell you that flat out. You have to have the mentality of making something for someone else. And thinking about that, thinking about the different types of people that will play your game and how they're going to react to the various gameplay elements you put inside of it. Because these are attractors or detractors for your game. And if your game has nothing but detractors in it, and the best anybody could say about your game is that it's an art house game, then congratulations, you're an artist and you made a video game. But you did not make a game through game design, because you didn't actually really design hardly anything. Because the only person you were thinking about was yourself. And I mean, honestly, that kind of selfish pursuit is, and you can over-design something too. You could add too many systems, too many things going on. You could bury the player in things that may be good, but there's just too much of it. Like, it's why I just don't like action RPGs anymore. I used to love action RPGs because I don't like turn-based RPGs. Now I hate them. I hate them with a bloody passion because they're so just absolutely buried in systems and inventory management and all kinds of tedious crap I just don't want to be bothered with. It's just not fun. And it's not interesting either. So, yeah. Long story short, yes, buy this game, if I haven't already stated that enough times. You shouldn't have to watch me play this game to decide if you want to buy it. It is just that good of a game. You should be investing your money in these types of games that have so much thought put into them, so much love. What do they mean after it is used? Well, I already listed, for those of you interested, I already listed off at least one more game that is very much like this, but even more arcade-ish, and that would be Wizard of Legend. If you like what you're seeing, you should also check out... It might be Wizards. Wizard or Wizard of Legend. You should check that out as well, because it's also in the same vein. It's been out longer. Good game. Well worth your time. Lots and lots of replay value. You will likely get more hours. You will likely get more hours out of games like that than you will games that promise you hundreds of hours or whatever, because you're more likely to go back to it. It's easier to see the slight AoE that your character has on their attacks when you have like poison or fire on them, because you could see the aura, and so you could tell that you damage not just one but multiple enemies. I love that you use traps. So cool. So cool. I actually did get an achievement for that. Though I had to do it quite a bit. I think I had to kill 100 enemies with traps. But in a game like this, you're going to be killing hundreds of enemies anyways. So it didn't take me that long to get it. Would it take me a lot less if I played the game more and talked less, but you know. Me being me. Yeah, at first when I saw the traps in this game, I thought they were just for me. And, like, I just avoided them. So that actually gives me all my health back. Interesting. I was curious to see how much of my health I'd get back. This is a fairly annoying... It's useful, but it's annoying. I guess unless you want to beatbox with it along the way. That's what I would suggest. That's useful. I need one that leaves a like a slight AoE after I drop it. That'll be more useful. Some of these runes are definitely better than others. One of my favorite ones are like divine abilities, I think they're called, is the one that when you touch things, you damage them. Which is super, super old school not turn-based, but action RPG. The original action RPGs that came out way in the past. Like there was one called Dragon Knight. Was Dragon Knight? You actually would bump into enemies to do damage to them. And every time you bumped into them, there was a chance that they would do damage to you as well. And that was how the combat was handled. And it wasn't bad per se, it was just different. Nothing. Okay. Because she feels like it. Because she can. She's in a dungeon, Takato. She could fart as much as she wants. Who's gonna care if you drop you drop a few farts in a dungeon? Like, really, who's gonna complain about that? What, the monsters that are trying to kill you? I mean, would that even be a concern? Oh, I just don't want these monsters that are trying to kill me to choke on my farts. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's be honest. Before they had toilets, they had dungeons. And dungeons were where you farted. And other things. That's probably how the first dungeon came about. It was probably just a bunch of people trapped in a room, and they're like, well, this isn't so bad. I have someone to talk to. What's so bad about this? Someone comes into that room, farts, and leaves. And they're like, oh, God. Oh, I can taste it. Horrible. Let me out of here. And, you know, that was it. That's the first dungeon ever. Just trapped in a room with people that someone comes in every once in a while, farts. Maybe the people already in the room fart. It doesn't matter. You're stuck in there. Enjoy your new life. Sanitize. Oh, shit. Go, Linda. You're a badass. Go, Linda. You're a badass. Whoop. I mean, of course they do. I don't even like the saying monster because it's... Alright, so if y'all haven't heard me talk about my opinions on good and evil, you're in for an earful. I don't like the idea of good and evil because it's too easy for someone to say, I'm good and you're bad, and then afflict all manner of punishments upon someone. It's often used, the ideas of good and evil, the whole binary thinking thing, is often used to point one group out as being positive and another group out as being negative. And that's rarely the case. Because here's the problem with thinking like that. You could have someone very rich at the top oppressing people to the point where they do horrible things. And then you could have the person that be at the top being like, well, look at what they're doing. They're horrible people. No, the person at the top is the horrible person. They forced these people into such a horrible situation that they are doing horrible things now. They are the true evil, but they get to say they're good. You see where I'm going with this? There's a lot of that going on in the world, and there always will be. The whole idea of good versus evil, it's really about who has power and who doesn't have power. If you have power, you're good. If you don't have power, you're evil. Or you can get more eccentric about it and you could say you're a human or you're a monster. You see? You see what I did there? Because you could do almost anything you want with binary thinking. Because you're always going to have a winner and a loser. And I don't like that way of thinking. It's very limited. And outside of comedy, it has no place in critical thinking. But when you have societies that are geared so heavily towards winners and losers, and everybody clearly wants to be a winner, it's very hard to get away from binary thinking. So in that game, in this game itself, so in this game right here, one of the characters, Lucy, the mage, the fire mage, actually does not see the dark creatures, the corruption, as pure evil or monsters. It's like part of her lore, that she still sees something redeemable in them, I guess you could say. And that's very interesting to me that they would do this, because this whole family is very almost, well, let's just say the way they're going about things is undeniably almost religiously oriented. Okay, so they're being directed by their faith. And let's say I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, Takato. Okay? Let's say I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. Let's just say, for instance, I am a paranoid schizophrenic. And I see you walking down the street, and you look like some kind of crazy shadow monster to me, so I stab you 15 times. Now, in my eyes, you're a crazy shadow monster. Okay? Because I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. Now, in the matter of time that you're being stabbed 15 times, do you think that matters? Or are you just like, you're the one getting stabbed to the face? Or are you just like, what the fuck is going 15 times? You know, that's what's going through your head. It is, but I'm also trying to prove a point. When you look at a religion at its peak and how they demonize certain groups of people, almost to the point of ethnic cleansing, you don't think that that's the same thing on just a much larger scale? You don't think it's just a group of paranoid schizophrenics running a larger group of people, controlling them, and then making them do incredibly heinous things? Because the problem with a lot of people that tend to have any kind of psychosis, people with psychosis tend to be fairly interesting and maybe even charming, right? Look at what's his name, the one that led around the little group of people, and they murdered some hippies and some hippies and some famous people. Okay, look at that. All right, he was a very influential person. He actually got, was it one or more of the Beach Boys interested in him? Okay, he was a very charismatic individual. These sorts of people tend to be very charismatic. So who's to say that the leader of a church is not a paranoid schizophrenic? Who's to say that? Are you willing to go against the voice of God? Even if they're nailing people to fucking crosses, who's to say that they're a paranoid schizophrenic? Right? And that's the story of the Crusades right there. While they were throwing people in pits, burning them alive, and doing all manner of horrible things, raping people, they were all acting under the guise of, we are good and they are bad, therefore we could do whatever we want to them. But sure, that's a twisted way to look at it. My streams always go off in these weird directions. This is probably why people don't talk in my streams so much. Like, oh, I don't want to trigger some strange conversation. Well, you might. I can't promise you won't. Even though this only lasts for a little bit, it's still a good thing because it'll get your bar filled up for sure. The hell is that? This is a new one. I haven't seen a room like this before.
While unable to allow another to touch Aneadaya, the golem could still protect her and her people, becoming the refugees' champion. At least so it was, once upon a time.
It's just like fucking decking
Happiness and sorrow weaved together to create a place of refuge.
For the monsters. Oh, no worries, Daniel. Thank you for popping by. Please do stay involved within the community, whether it's the Space Lords community or in my community in general. Just stay involved, and you might find that there's a little bit more going on in your own personal space as well. Yeah, I don't know why people tell me that. I've warned people against that, because then you hear me say like crazy shit, and then that's gonna be stuck in your head. Just let the sweet dulcet tones of my voice lull you to sleep while I say crazy shit. It's not a generally good idea. Most people's significant others hate me so much because they do not see the same allure, and all they can do is listen to the things that I say, and it drives them crazy. What does that one do? Primary attack will slow enemies. Actually, that might be more useful, and I ran on my other rune anyways. Freezing shot. It's good overall rune. Oh, I got some healings. I got some heals left. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, when you've been around as long as I have, you know that you affect people in both positive and negative ways, whether you want to or not. Like, it's not a choice that we actively make to affect other people. You just do. Like, it just happens. And it's something you absolutely have to deal with the repercussions of. I got 9 souls. Wow, I'm just swimming in these things. I also got... Yes. Oh, I got an extra attack in Guardian Rage. Alright, Linda appears to prefer her harmonic slam and stun any. Lifting their spirits and further increasing the entire family movement while weapons are sheathed. Oh, they move faster when they're not attacking? portion of Linda's maximum health each time she enters Guardian's range. Boom, boom, boom. Brooch of Insanity! Friendly critical chance at the cost of a slow, constant drain of your health. I've been meaning to try this out, actually. Let's see how slow it is. Oh! I haven't actually used it yet. What was this one? That was Unstable Relics. Oh, that's not what I thought. Okay. What is that one? Lucky Charm increases the amount of morph gains. Hardy Invigoration temporarily increases rage gain. Chance to throw an axe while attacking. Yes, thank you. I'll save some morphs or something else. So I'm slowly but surely losing health. Cursed stuff is always fun to play with in these kinds of games because it gives you an immediate risk for your reward. So okay, so here's this thing, but now you're cursed. And Wizard of Legend actually has a lot of cursed stuff in it. In fact, there's a store in that game that sells you nothing but cursed items. And those cursed items always give you some kind of a benefit, but they also punish you in some other ways. Sometimes those ways are drastic. So they offer their own kind of challenge. Is it still like spewing blood everywhere? What is going on with the background? You guys see that? Look at the blood just constantly spraying out. Alright, it stopped. That was weird. Well, let's see. Does it keep doing that? Yeah. Look, there's the arrow. Look, the arrow freeze framed in the top left corner there. Right corner. Yeah, no. Yeah, left corner. I need one of those old-fashioned controller slow motion buttons that like just pauses the game constantly. Vortex shot. I don't know about that. I can't think too long though because I'm cursed right now. But what is it? But you know what? I think I already had that one and it was okay. It wasn't really that amazing. Healing is a must.
And its imprisoned light.
Okay, so I'm defending. Is that Grandma? Who is that? Spoon of Mulsigat. Small chance to recover health when attacking. Thank you, yes, that will counter my curse. Sweet. I just got something to counter my curse. Alright, I'm good now, I think, maybe. Small chance, but it's better than nothing. And I think you can have an unlimited amount of those things, or more than what I've ever been able to gather up. Thump, 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 thump. Oh, he was a red one. Oh, I didn't know that. Fuck. I was messing with him like he's nothing. Oh, that's actually nice. The stun. I'll get the stun. He's big on stuns. Healing, please. Thank you. I'm gonna die. Will I die to enemies or the curse? We'll see. Oh, that's a red one. That's a red one. Oh, I'm dead. What does this one do? Also, because I know inflicts have more damage on the cast. I'll do the stun. I'll stick with the stun. Somehow I got some health back. I'm just barely surviving. Hells yeah! What's that? Focus mantra. Gain stamina for any with hit. Oh, sweet. Boy, I'm really living on a prayer right now, aren't I? Hits. Yes, health potion. Those buy me like literal seconds. I lose a health point every second, I think. Is that one? Text burn enemies with fire. Yep, let's do it. I ran out of my other one.
Something more sinister would be appearing soon.
What? What? No.
A new challenger appeared.
Oh no! I'm so dead. Oh, was that not the only way I could go? Oh my god, I need health. I need health. What's that? Sorry, Jonesy. Oh my god, you're gonna die. Why did you curse? Because why wouldn't I? Because I wanted to see what it would be like to get the effects. I've actually passed on it several times, Staccato. Oh, be a voice, and so you're a wizard. You are a salty bastard! How dare you wish horrible things upon me? Oh, here, look, it's a shop. I got tones. I got this. Blackfoot. Increased movement speed and dodge chance the cost of losing the ability to evade. No, thank you. Create an area that slows and damages area. Enemies. Target the damaged enemies, leave the enemy pull. Creates a totem that distracts all enemies. That could be useful, but I think I'm gonna do that. Since I'm so wealthy, I was able to save my ass with money. Sort of. Not money, but like souls. You gotta wonder why this guy collects souls in the first place. Like, that's his currency? Really? That's pretty fucking dark. My damage is up so high right now because of all the crit bonuses I've got. That's why I'm like two-shotting everything, if you're wondering how I'm killing stuff so fast. It's because of all these fucking bonuses on damage I have. There's a lot of them.
The sight had become painfully all too... When all was thought lost...
Oh, not the boy! Oh no!
Struggle
not
was
the boy!
Too heavy
No,
a burden.
I forgot what this
a
event
young
is.
voice cried out.
No! I cannot protect a young boy in this state.
Stifling his sobs, the small boy spoke of his
No.
mother. She was not
Damn
far
it.
away, and returning to her was his only need.
Son of a bitch. This is a really hard event. I'm gonna die before he even gets there. Okay, don't go near him. Go the other way. I think is a thing. I did it! You gotta stay away from him. You gotta stay away from the boy because you're more dangerous to him than the monsters are. I did it! I saved a little boy!
Tears slipped down the mother's face in
I failed
praise
this
of her
horribly
good
the
fortune,
first time I did it.
thankful for her son's safe return. And for the briefest of moments, the burden of Mount Morta became lighter upon the hero's shoulder.
And the worst part is after I failed it, they continued to remind me about that. They're like, remember that time you could have saved that little boy and you let them die? And I'm like, well, fuck you too. Like, the whole family was basically talking about it. It was weird, but... It is. Too much power is a dangerous thing. Got a melee companion, though. I just gotta keep healing. That's it. That's the ace here. I have to, so it's not just I have to keep healing, I have to keep moving. Oftentimes I'll sit and I'll read stuff and I'll look at stuff. I can't do that. I have to keep moving, because if I don't keep moving, I'm just losing health for nothing. But I do have an ability, Goliath, that gives me health back if I damage enemies. So that's a pro. And I actually have extra health because of oh shit. I got this that one divine thing that gave me more health. So the tougher the stuff they send after me, the better, because the tougher enemies tend to drop health more often. See? I need these guys. I'm getting health like crazy right now. I gotta go though. Don't think I don't know what I'm doing. I totally know what I'm doing. I know how to handle all kinds of substance abuse. I know when to stop. I can stop at any time using cursed items. I don't have to use these cursed items. I just do so because they're interesting and compelling and they give my existence meaning. Ducato, I don't need you to tell me to stop and that I need help and I should join a group. Bastard. I know what I'm doing. I got this. I'm gonna totally beat this boss while I'm cursed to hell. So fucked. This is the big boss fight, by the way. Golem, golem, golem.
Anea died.
This guy's a dick! Oh, no, 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 no. Yes! Wow, cursed! Oh, I gotta get out of here because I'm totally gonna die. No, it wasn't! No, it's not. I had a fuck ton of extra damage. That's what I was trying to tell
Finally
you, Ducato,
free of the corruption's
is that my damage
hold,
output was
Anea
insane.
Dire
That's
gazed
why I
upon
was
the
two-shotting
Bergson,
everything.
her emerald eyes.
It was not weak.
weary
That thing does a
with
lot of
exhaustion.
damage, and it has a lot of health. I was just doing a fuck ton of damage because of that thing that cursed me. That thing that cursed me gives me a lot of a bonus to my criticals. I don't know if it's the damage or if it's just crit chance, but it increases one of them like a lot. The downside to that being that you lose health constantly. So as long as I was able to keep myself alive, I was doing crazy amounts of damage. And I kept getting more stuff that was boosting my damage. So, like, it wasn't just that, like, he was weak. Because, no, he was not weak. Trust me. You can clip that if you want, because I just kicked his ass with like a shred of health because I wouldn't stop shooting him with my super damage. I didn't even go into rage mode, Ducato. I could have nuked that boss probably if I went into rage mode. Because I always forget to use that. Unlimited power! Yeah, there you go. The power of a cursed item. I'm surprised I didn't get an achievement for that, where you, like, do something using the power of a curse. Linda, the main bae, saves the day once again. And I'm told this is the
Spirit's
beginning.
words took life, forming
game
images to reveal what was
interesting.
hidden from the
So that is
Bergsons.
that's the fucking prologue that I just beat. That's all I
And
just did
thus,
was beat the
Spirits
prologue.
free knelt
Sort of.
before the mountain god U to swear fealty.
That means I gotta do 2 more spirits, at least. And then maybe that last one. So
Our
4
wills
spirits
were
total.
set on peace. His was set on testing ours.
That's right, you do that. You test your children. You make sure they're strong. And then they fuck
And
this
as the
shit up.
test drew to a close, we discovered our wretched ending. As the mountain god exacted vengeance on the children of Rhea Dana and tainted Rhea with the corruption. Thus was another truth revealed to the Bergson, but many
No.
more
Because
were hidden
I got
still.
one more family member to unlock, and yeah, and that's I was warned that that was the first real boss. because the rest of them were technically
Questions
just
were
mini
abundant in
bosses.
the Bergsons' minds. If the mountain god was the source of the corruption, what had made him wreak such havoc? How had no one known about him before?
Hey, you could see that. It was that
They
the other
needed to
gods
find the
rebelled
next
against
spirit,
him. They
as
rebelled
maybe
against him.
they
They're like,
had an
fuck
answer
this. I'm
to
not
some
putting
of
up
their
with this
questions.
anymore.
More
And then he cursed
truths
everybody.
awaited them in the land of the winds.
Because you could see them attacking him in that little sequence. Very classic Greek gods versus the Titans kind of thing. Gain from enemies. Still don't have these bottom three. So I already got my crit chance up to 10%, which is pretty good. I can't get my dodge chance any higher. Movement speed is expensive. Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do anything. Oh, there's an event here.
And yet another letter, this time more intimate. All Ben wanted to hear. Something, anything, back from Sheila. He made no
Sheila!
requests and made no
Where are
mention
you?
of past events. Once again, he considered going to Terra Lava if no reply was forthcoming.
How? I messaged them on Twitter. I've already mentioned in a previous stream that I was interested in their artwork. It's called networking, Takado. You should look into it. Unless you don't have to do that sort of thing, but yeah, no. Getting to meet people is the most basic form of networking. Oh, hello and welcome again. So there you go. Takado was asking how I met you, and I'm like, well, very directly and indirectly, as it were. Social media being the most indirect way to contact people. Oh yeah, Twitter. But Takado, Danielle is also in the Discord now. One more special person added to the bunch. Special people. Peoples. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I also commented on it on my stream as well. So, yes. On the most base level, I do stream as often as I can. Not as often as I probably could. But I do need some personal time. It appears as I cannot speak of the riddles within the tomb. She looks to be in pain whenever it is brought up. Wait, is she with us here? Oh, that she is. She's that, like, crystal right there, isn't she, baby? No? So they talk to her. Well, she's obviously part of the cause. Happy. And now they are suffering now. Is she actually in the house somewhere? I don't he here? And shouldn't expect anything. It was his own decision just to leave Sheila. So this should open up a new area to explore, new dungeons. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know what? I have Mercury Steam to thank for that.
The spirit of fealty awaited the Bergsons somewhere in Berhat.
They do point people out. Give me a second. I'll
Take
talk
the
more in a
warriors
second.
there.
Narrator speaking. All right. So Mercury Steam actually pointed you out. So because I follow Mercury Steam, anybody that they point out, I see in my Twitter thread. I've had to actually limit who I follow. If they get a little bit too all over the internet, because I found that they start dragging me into all kinds of political crap I just don't want my whole fucking Twitter flooded with. Which sucks, because, I mean, that's their thing. That's great. But I don't need it to be my thing as well. So, yeah. So what does that mean when you go over there? Like, when she's there now? I mean, you could still do the caves, I guess. And that's the mountain guide at the bottom, I guess. And the one that was outside as well. Oh, cool. Are these more outside-y levels? Am I actually exploring the world now? That'll be neat. Because I was like trapped in a fucking cave. I was like trapped in a cave for a while. Yo, basically my life. Trapped in a cave. With some cats. Order out, because, you know, you're not allowed to leave the cave. I think I am getting close to unlocking Ben, though. Because I think the Sheila person is actually in Berhat. Exactly, yeah. That's really good for you as an artist, for them to point you out like that, because obviously, by proxy, they have a lot of followers, because they're more well known, obviously. And so having them point anything out brings more attention to it. So yeah, it's really cool that they do that. They are very... we give them so much shit, Danielle. We give them so much shit. But their involvement with the community is almost unparalleled. You'd have to really look very hard, especially considering they're like a medium-sized company, for another developer out there to stay so involved with their community. It's part of the reason why their game has survived as long as it had, because their involvement with their community has been so strong. And it doesn't mean we're not at odds with each other sometimes, but maybe all the time. But there's still involvement there. They're not like ignoring us. I've seen developers do that. I've seen developers going from being very open to just shutting everybody out, because they can't deal with it anymore. It becomes so toxic for them that they no longer can work like that. I've seen it happen. And I was really surprised that didn't happen with Mercury Steam, because I thought it was going to. I saw it coming, and I'm like, oh, that's it. We're so incredibly toxic, they're never going to talk to us ever again. And thankfully it didn't happen. But I think we got really, really close. She's almost back, so she don't have any corruption. Who else needs love? So she's up to 10 now. I really want to work on John, because he's the one I struggle the most with. Probably not a good idea. You missed it though, Takata. Like, if you look at how we are now, think of how we are now and how some of us are considered very toxic as like a representation of the community. Now imagine that worse, like way worse. And yes, we were that bad at one point. We were full on just blasting them. There was no compliments to give. It was just purely negative. Yeah, we were there. That was back when the game was still Raiders of the Broken Planet. I don't remember exactly
that bring
when
misery
it hit its
and
peak.
infinite obscurity lay scattered, a public exhibition to all those who cross the King of Thieves.
Okay, so it was somewhere around the War Dog, maybe the Hades. Maybe the Hades. I think Hades is actually the campaign where it peaked out. But I'm trying to remember exactly the time period, and I think it actually might have been more like War Dog, because Hades was a huge change to the game. Hades was when they introduced the progression system, and you know how I feel about that. You know exactly how I feel about the progression system. Well, you can actually see other rooms before you can go into them. Fire. So we got poison and yeah, poison. I think that was. Now we got fire. Of course, that makes sense. Man, even these snakes are hard to kill. Ow. Oh, I hit the thing again, didn't I? Oh, no. Dude, I am almost dead. For the Parkinsons! And oh, whoa. Oh, okay. I thought that was a treasure chest. That's not a treasure chest. It kind of looked like a treasure chest. God damn it, I'm just thinking everything that's a box is a treasure. Oh, it's Yuki the seal. Yay, Yuki. Yuki will protect me. Did IP banned you? I don't know, Takato. If you get into it with them too much and you just... Like, there's got to be some productivity in the conversation. Like, if we're just yelling at them and there's no back and forth. Like, if this is you, you know, comment A, comment B, comment C, and they're trying to get a word in edgewise because they want to be D, and you're like, no, D. That is in and of itself very toxic because you're not letting them talk. And we often do that to them. We often blast them with so much information that there's no way that they could effectively respond, because if they respond to one person, then another person is going to get upset. So they kind of have to pick who to respond to, since they're just really trying to get a word in edgewise. So, yeah, I mean, might be. I had to learn that a long time ago, and it took me a long time to really be comfortable with not doing that, because I like to talk, and when you like to talk, You don't often give other people the opportunity to talk as well, and it's something I constantly fight with. Uh, and some people will never learn that lesson. Some people just like the sound of their own voice. So good luck to them, I guess. It's not an effective way to communicate, but yeah. So there has to be an actual back and forth. If there's no, and ideally it's you on A, them on B, you on C, them on D. You know what I'm saying? That's an exchange. That's an actual exchange. And it can't just be you reiterating the same thing over and over again. If they don't agree with you the first time, I mean, then maybe they just don't agree with you, and you move on to a different point. I mean, because no matter how good an idea we think something is, they ultimately have the final say on what gets into the game. I've brought this up so many times. You are not developing the game. I am not developing the game. You, me, and them all would make a different game. So you have to give them that level of respect that they are still working on the game. And as much as we're not happy with whatever it is that they do, it's still a choice that they make and they have to live with. It's not our choice that we made that we have to live with. We just shout at them about things that we want. And oftentimes we are just shouting at them. What was that? Is that a room? Is that block, knockout, block added? So just blocking stuns them? Is that what it is? Is that a mummy? Oh shit. Oh crap. I am so gonna die. Okay, maybe bringing the underleveled character in here was not the best plan. Oh my god. He is so hard to use. These are like beefier versions of the skeletons, these mummies. Oh no. Backpedaling is not working! Oh crap, I'm dead. Well, I tried. I figured I was gonna die really fast. I'm all like, well, yeah, this probably wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good idea. I did get him some XP, but oh my god. Like that, every fight I got into was a struggle. I mean, like, Takado, what's the most common threat we make to them? Think about it. You've said it yourself. What's the most common threat we make to them? I'm gonna install your game. Sorry, I'm gonna uninstall your game. We don't ever threaten to install their game. God damn it, Mercury Steam! If you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm totally gonna install your game and play it. Fuck you. We don't do that. We tell them we're gonna uninstall the game. And that we're never gonna play it again. So in other words, you're gonna lose a player. Now, what effect does it actually have on the broader player base? I mean, ultimately, in the end, we're just numbers, right? Not as much impact as we think it does. Like, it's a very blatant, blunt statement, but ultimately, if you're just one person in a crowd, like now, if a whole bunch of people uninstalled because you uninstalled, then definitely that has an effect. But I don't think that really ever happens. People are usually uninstalling for their own reasons, period. And that's probably what was happening before they lowered the difficulty for the raiders, was that too many people were Takadoing it. And they were just uninstalling the game. And I mean, to be fair, Takano, you've probably got the most installs on the game than anybody else does because you've uninstalled it and then reinstalled it. So, but that was because of the difficulty. It was not probably anything else than that. They just felt the game was too hard for them, and they didn't stick around. And because of this, the game has gotten like ridiculously easy, like to the point where you don't have to hardly try at anything. Like it went like full casual on a lot of the difficulty. Like it doesn't, you do start to actually sort of see the difficulty, if not definitely see at like 36, I think. Somewhere in the 30s, you could actually see the enemies actually start to do stuff. But however, with the way that the antagonist is knocking things down lately, you may never get there. Like you may never actually play a match at 30% or higher because the antagonists keep knocking you down. It's easy enough for Takanos to play. Yeah, I mean, I think I might have jested at you a bit about that, but you're not a bad player, Takano. I wouldn't say you needed the difficulty. Your gripe was more about the antagonists and things like that. Not particularly the difficulty itself. Though I think everybody at one point or another has been destroyed by the AI and wanted them like toned down a bit. The problem is that when they tone things down, they don't tone them down a bit, they tone them down a lot. Because everything is on a sliding scale. So there's the base values of everything, and then there's the actual values that we get when we start a matchup. Like when we're actually in the game. And those are two separate things. So what they affect, as I believe, is that base value. So they change that number. And by changing that number, it changes a lot of things. And I think what they maybe need to do is change, which they've done this too. It's just like if they're trying to make things easier for people at the lower difficulties, then fine. But leave the normal and the higher difficulties alone. Or maybe, like, I don't know, maybe tone down the higher difficulty a little bit. Little bit, not a lot. Because normal should be perfect. You know what I mean? Normal should be like somewhere between the 30s to the maybe the mid 40s, I think, is normal difficulty. That should feel good. Not too hard, not too easy. If it feels too easy, then they've toned it down too much. If it feels too hard, then they've made it too difficult. Like, that range is a very important range. And the problem is they made normal easy. Like, the normal difficulty is actually easy difficulty. And that's a bit of a problem. Because what happens is there's this jarring moment where you go from things being a joke to things being ridiculously hard because there's no middle ground. They obliterated it. There's only easy and hard. Like, you see how this could be a problem? You know, you can't just do that. Like, there's no graduation there. And that was because they wanted to make it more casual friendly, I guess.
Sometimes, just as you're getting ready to leave, someone arrives and you stay for them forever.
Lucy! What have you done? Yeah, we really should have difficulty settings. Who's this guy? My name is Charles. And I dance. I dance.
Sheila's ring drew Ben's attention.
Oh,
the
she's
same
Sheila's
ring
new
that
husband.
Sheila had always said belonged to her firstborn.
Oh, wait, no, it's her kid. Okay.
This man was their son. Ben could not stop staring into Joey's eyes, the eyes that he had gotten from Sheila.
That sounds so dark. It's like he plucked them right out of her skull or something.
When Joey
Oh,
informed
Joey,
his father
you literally
of the
have
many
her
years
eyes.
since his
That's
mother's
so
passing,
disturbing.
Ben's heart
Could
felt
you give them
cold.
back?
In that single moment, with the single gulp he drank, the memory of all the years with her
Oh,
passed
how
through his
beautiful,
mind.
Takato. He's gonna turn his
Regret
son into an
became
alcoholic.
his companion. It was not the warmth of the
This is their
drink,
bonding moment.
but his son's touch that brought him out of the coldness within.
Son,
Sheila
you
was dead,
too
but
will
their
be an
son
alcoholic.
was here.
Wait, is he the one that I get to play as? I thought it was Ben, but maybe it's not Ben. Maybe it's Ben's son.
And this was the future. A future they had to build now, together.
Oh, he is the one you play as. And he built him a mighty hammer and renamed his son Thor. He's like, and you're my dad, and I love you. Thank you for the hammer.
Joey was ready
I like
to
that he does that
fight
double finger
alongside
thing.
the other
That's
Bergsons
so
to clear a
funny.
road to that future.
I got someone tankier than John. I'm pretty sure he wants the hammer. I just unlocked all the playable characters. I thought I
Linda
was going to unlock
felt
Ben.
a
I
deep
was wrong.
sorrow when she saw that her tree, the tree her father had planted the day she was born, had withered and died.
It's not completely dead.
Though when she looked upon her grandma, her sadness lessened. Margaret was always
Don't worry,
a
that was
glimmer
just
of
some
light
stupid old
in the
tree. We'll plant
darkest of
another
hours.
one. Not 200 hours. Shut up! I've been playing this game for not 200 hours. I know that much. God, I don't even have that much time to play games, period. But that did unlock the final character. So I guess we'll be playing with Ben to see what he can do. Or not Ben, what was his name again? What's the new guy's? Joey! Joey, the magical hammer-wielding kangaroo. It is kind of funny, Takato, when you think about it. So here's... No. Get this joke. Okay, so Sheila in Australia is also synonymous with female. And Joey, an Australian, is an Australian kangaroo's baby. A baby kangaroo is called what, Takato? What is a baby kangaroo called? It's called a Joey. It's true. Totally true. So now we have our very own Kangaroo Thor. Awesome. Yeah, exactly. The more you know. I still don't have these 3 things unlocked. Though I'm sure they're gonna be expensive. Oh, I think I can afford something now. Yeah, I can afford some cheap stuff. Probably just more health at this point. I'm only missing one thing here, gemstone proficiency. And that's not even a big deal to me. Oh, we're gonna share a moment. Oh, look, they're talking about their baby, probably. There were slaves to their own debauchery in the past as well. What? Oh, so Joey shares a room with Mark. Those soldiers are unusually aggressive. The correction must have affected them. The bottom one looks like some kind of teleporting skill? What are you talking about? And here? No, it's not about Oh, that one. Compulsion, no. But compulsion, it increases their rage gain. So your rage is your like. Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. So once you have enough in your rage bar, you can trigger it at any time. It does actually take a long time to build it. So this just makes that faster. But like the really good stuff are in here, the Book of Ray. Just like these are obelisk effects. Wisdom, this is you gain XP faster, so you level up faster. This one was a really good one. It makes all your relics have a faster cooldown time. I've been trying to pump points into this because this means I can use them more often.
Barry's worry over bringing a child into this harsh world would not prevent John from making bad jokes. He would say,
hopefully not dead baby
does
jokes.
Not seem at all worried, which was exactly what helped her keep calm.
That's a bad joke, yeah. Don't tell dead baby jokes to people that are pregnant. It's my point of advice to you. It's a very tasteless thing to do. It's not going to make them laugh. It's just going to piss them off. I know I've never done that before, but I've known of someone who did. And I had to hear it from their significant other just how much it pissed them off. Dun, dun, dun. The time of the Joey has arrived. The time of the Joey has arrived. Decado. Decado! Do you think it's an angry Joey or a happy Joey? Huh? It's a happy Joey. Yeah, he does seem pretty good. Especially that finger thing he did. So he's kind of like Other Joe. If you ever watched the Angry Joe show, you know that like Other Joe is like the cheery one to counter Angry Joe's often like rage fits. He's also the one that gets to cross-dress the most for what that's worth. It's worth a lot to me that he puts himself in dresses for us. He's probably just a more offensive-oriented version of John. But let's check out his stuff. Joey. He's an experienced brawler. Build and strong arms has made him a dependable fighter. What's his health like? 233. Got a nice chunk of health. Yeah, because he gets almost 200 on his own. Alright, so what does he get? He gets... Receiving damage provokes Joey, significantly increases the damage of his next primary attack. So he is actually a bit of a berserker. He's actually a proper berserker, I guess. Joey evades with such force that enemies are damaged where he lands. Oh, cool. I get a special dodge. Let's do it, baby kangaroo. Thankfully, it doesn't take long to get your first level under your belt and get a new attack. Too many games do that where I've played games before where it takes ages to get your first like new movement or something like that. It's so stupid. And you end up having to like mash the same button over and over again because they thought it should take you more time to fucking get it. No. It's fucking dumb. Oh, so he just charges through enemies and does damage. That's awesome. He really does have the whole Viking thing going on with the hammer and the charging at enemies. Yeah, that trap does not hurt. Alright. So, they're actually encouraging you to let him get hit. He does swing pretty slow, though. What is that? Is that a trap? Oh, no, that... Yeah, well, it is a trap, but it's an antlion, a giant one. Oh, shit, that's not... God damn it, that's not a chest! Oh, no. Oh, wow. No, I'm dead. Oh, damn it. Well, you know. I tried. Thank you for coming back again, and I'll see you next time, Danielle. And yeah, like, don't be a stranger. That's always nice. I'm very slowly building up my dedicated fan base here, but yeah, don't be a stranger, of course. We love to have you here, chatting, interacting, and whatnot. You will likely see me play a variety of things. I got the channel points at the bottom, so you might want to look into that, Danielle. There are some channel points at the bottom. Just by sitting in the stream and watching it, you've earned some of those, so you can redeem them, much like this. For some points. So there you go. I can do that as often as I want to showcase it, I guess, because I have an unlimited amount, but for everybody else, you're earning them as you watch. Freckle tends to have a shit ton of them because he's always in my stream, so it's a little reward thingy for just watching. Yeah, look into them. You have to redeem them here, though, in the channel. Whether I'm streaming or not doesn't matter. But you do have to go to the channel and redeem them in the channel. Like, you can't redeem the points in someone else's channel because they'll be points for their channel, if that makes sense. So that's the only caveat is when you do redeem them, you have to redeem them in this channel. But some of them do allow you to, like I think if you rent an emote, you could use that in anybody's channel. But you have to make sure you redeem it in this channel. Okay, that's it. That's
Their minds traveled back to Jovial, the celebration day all those years back in Barahat. The day they had met when their hearts played the same song. The day their eyes started to see nothing but each other.
when they made babies, lots of
It was
babies.
love that had sustained
A
the
whole
Bergsons
family
through
of
thick
babies.
and thin.
I suppose if they do like a sort of flashback thing, they could show her when she was younger before she had all the babies, because obviously she was a warrior as well. And that could be interesting in its own right. Like some kind of flashback story. And then that could also lend experience to the rest of the family. Maybe, I don't know. Like just a one-off thing. Oh, the brilliant ideas that we have. Might have to keep this really short because I actually have to work really early to tomorrow, today. It's almost today. I could swear I had more days off, but it's probably the old schedule. Alright, let's keep... What's that? Oh.
Joey and Mark had not known each other for long. But as happens with some young men their age, a friendly rivalry was already taking shape.
Oh, boys in love. Boys in love. It always starts with that friendly rivalry. Alright, now I can use Lucy again. Well, I could have still kept using her, but... She's my little firebrand, Lucy! Kooky little redhead. Hair like flames and fire in her hands and maybe in her eyes. She set everything ablaze, sometimes even herself. But soon she came to master her abilities and burn just those things she deemed undesirable and unfashionable. I love that noise it makes. Yeah. Yeah. I do still like Linda a little bit more just because. It's an automaton? Gone? No. He's just waiting for me not to pay attention so he can stab me in the back. You dirty bastard. 3 degrees firing check, launches 3 fireballs at the same time. Oh yeah, try shot. If anybody can get through one of these areas, it's Lucy. Oh, shit. Oh, they can wreck walls now? Oh, fuck me. Okay. Alright, I'm getting a little bit chewed up here. Damn. Oh, these guys. First time I saw those guys. Thank you. Needed that. Oh, now there's 2 of them? Look at my ass kicked. Okay. That is a hard trap to use. Venom. Good old-fashioned poison. What drugs? No. There are no cursed weapons. You hardly ever get that cursed thing. I mean, I know it works. I know it does what it needs to do. It is just very risky. Oh man, that tornado with the poison on top of it already, it like just doubles the DPS of it. Because it's poisoning them the entire time. It's almost guaranteed to kill them now. That's a good buff. Poison is a good buff for that. Oh, these guys actually poisoned me. Cyclone pulls in enemies more forcefully. That is actually very useful. I've had that before. The way the ground moves in this, like the dust and stuff blowing around, it's actually kind of distracting. Like I keep thinking enemies are spawning in or going to spawn in, and they're not. I don't know what hit me with that fucking fireball. Oh. Suck my fireballs, fireballs. I almost never use that decoy because it costs too much mana. Damn it. Man, I can't get through this with nobody. Has fallen in the city of thieves. Damn. Clearly, I need to be bringing some cursed items to Kato, because I'm getting my ass handed to me. It's all these new enemy types that I'm not used to. It is messing with me. I'm sure I'll get used to them like I got used to the other stuff. But like everything, the traps and everything are different. The only similar traps they have are those spike traps. Whoa. Oh, that tree is like super corrupted. Who's a kid now, me or those two big boys? What a tough guy Mark is. I like him. Yeah, what do you have to say about that, Mark? Nothing? Just meditating? He says nice things about you. You don't say any nice things about him? Oh, I see how this is. Forbidden love, forbidden love. Mark and Joey, they don't have forbidden love, but maybe they do. Not a thing remains of Bear Hut. So damn, I don't know, like this stream was gonna be all about like unlocking that, like what I thought was Ben, and that's not Ben. Surprise. That was a trick they pulled on me. There's not Cleo up at the top of the map, there you go. So weird how it's before it was all nighttime, now it's all, or daytime, now it's all nighttime. Adds a whole new different color palette or tint to everything. It's all that purple. You think we're ever gonna figure out what this fucking room on the side of the house is? Is that a storage shed? We'll never know. There could be a sex dungeon in there for all we know. I mean, because no one ever goes in that fucking room. John will just be like, don't go in there! I have very important things in there. There's tons and tons of adult novellas. Alright, so, yeah, unfortunately, I gotta keep this short, guys. I wanted to play this again, but at the same time, I want to make sure I get some sleep, because I will stay up all night playing this. And then also, I'm already kind of tired right now, so that's not good. But, I mean, that's my new schedule. I'm working a mixture of day and night shifts, and it's really fucking with my head as far as, like, when I'm supposed to be sleeping. I'm gonna call it here. I did get some stuff done. I didn't expect to beat that boss, like, just like that with Linda, but I did, and with a cursed item while Takata was wishing doom upon me. Just wishing absolute doom upon me, and yeah, I still won. So, just all too good at dealing with my own adversities. So, next time, for sure, we'll delve more into, is it Bahamut or something? It's the new dungeon. I be honest, I don't like the color palette, but not a big fan of being in the desert, but next time on Children of Morta, these are the days of their lives. So yeah, we'll see more of that. It's interesting to see the family develop and have their little stories mixed in with what's going on, and they do make little comments on everything that happens. It's a very detailed game. If you're at all interested in this game, just buy it. Like, seriously, just buy it. I'm so doubtful that anybody who bought this regretted their purchase, unless they completely expected it to be something else, which I don't know what it would be that they would expect it to be, but something else, something that it could never be, I guess. So as long as you don't have like outlandish expectations, I really think this is a very easy game to pick up, play, and definitely enjoy. And the challenge is definitely there. There's lots of different play styles represented here. Everything from the brawler to the shooter. and all kinds of stuff in between. So, yeah. Until next time, guys. Sorry for the shortish stream. It's a bit necessary. I was actually intending to start sooner, but I had to eat, and it took a while for my food to get here. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why. But also, I had so much other stuff I was juggling before the stream started, and I wanted to get that stuff done. So, I know they're just excuses, but I will see you guys next time. It probably won't be too long because with the way my work is going, I'm probably gonna want to stream just to de-res a bit. But I can't promise you it'll be today, tomorrow, whatever. There may be like a day or two between my streams. It's definitely possible that can happen. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Be good persons out there, or some sort of decent human being thing. You know?